The year is 2024. Bitcoin is moving sideways, Ethereum is having a nap, and the Solana meme coin space is a minefield. But one button, one simple green button, changed absolutely everything. Pump.Fun has gone from an unknown startup to one of the fastest growing companies in history, making over $700 million in just over 12 months. It now has its own token worth over $4 billion and a confirmed airdrop that could go down as one of the biggest in history. But the road to this point is easily one of the most controversial the world has ever seen. This is the Pump.Fun story. In the cold winter months of 2024, 3 UK entrepreneurs decided they wanted to heat things up a little. Tired of being rugged on meme coins and losing money on honeypots and liquidity pools, they had a revolutionary idea that would make rug pools impossible. In theory. The concept was simple. Much like Wish and Temu acted as middlemen, providing a platform for merchants to sell whatever useless goods they desired cheaply and profiting from the sales, Pump.Fun was designed to offer the same for crypto degens. Up to this point, the meme coin space was a war zone, with no real dedicated way to trade them safely. Binance users were losing their ass on PancakeSwap, and ETH holders had some gains to be made before losing them all on Uniswap. Solana users, they were stuck using Telegram bots that sapped up fees rapidly or trading directly on Jupiter. The idea of one big home for meme coins was good, but it needed something game-changing to make it worthwhile. So that's what they did. Pump.Fun was designed so that anyone could launch a meme coin for as little as $2. The catch? The dev didn't even need to buy supply. And if he did and later sold, the supply was locked, meaning that people could still buy and giving the community a chance to make it out alive. The liquidity pool was automatically seeded and locked using Radium, with fees from each buy and sell being divided between themselves and Pump.Fun directly. Pump provides the casino, Radium stocks the blackjack tables, and the gamblers, they do what they do best.
Imagine selling now. Honestly, man. Imagine it.
I just need to get the 2x so that I can cheat it.
Zero, what don't you understand? We have no money.
That's everything, bro. That's everything.
Gin in the eyes knowing that sold on dumps. On dumps, man. You idiot.
The result? Everything you touched turned to gold. Pump.Fun worked in a new way to incentivize growth, and it felt more like a game than some kind of dark art. Coins start at around 5k market cap. Once they hit around 25k, they reach what's called King of the Hill. This pinned the coin at the top of the homepage until another dethrones it by reaching that same level, giving a window of enhanced exposure, or a chance for the early buyers to dump on some unsuspecting exit liquidity. From there, they pushed to around 50k, the fabled bonding curve. Now that price varied depending on where Solana was at during the time, but once it hit that golden threshold, the coin graduates the Pump.Fun trenches and can be bought by any Solana degen browsing for new meme coins on sites like DexScreener. Pump.Fun is basically like a pre-sale before you get that wilder reach, giving users a chance to get great entries on coins that could, in theory, run to millions. Or it could plummet to zero within a matter of seconds. Don't get me wrong, you could still lose money on Pump.Fun, and most did. But the fact it was never truly over led to some of the biggest coins in the space we see today. For the first few months, Pump.Fun was untouchable. People unfamiliar with the platform were hesitant to touch graduated coins though, but that was until absolute gigasenders started to churn out, turning heads in the process. Whiff was joined by the likes of Michi and Fwog, and all of these hit millions, and with gains that size not seen for so long, it really didn't take long for crypto Twitter and greedy influencers to see the potential. In the first half of 2024, Pump.Fun is estimated to have made $60 million in trading fees alone, taking just 1% from each buy and sell. Over 1,500 coins were launched on the platform in the first month, but by July, that number had surged to over 1 million. Pump.Fun created a different kind of trading, one based on attention. With ideas quickly getting exhausted, it got to a point where any current trend or rogue Elon Musk tweet would be tokenized and bring with it a ton of volume. As KOLs and higher profile investors continued to pile in, shilling tokens to people yet to experience the chaos of this platform, and more coins continue to defy the laws of, well, everything, it didn't take long for things to start going south. If there's money to be made, grifters and money-hungry celebs will find a way to get in on the action. Caitlyn Jenner, Andrew Tate, Iggy Azalea, Jason Derulo, and even the hot tour girl all had meme coins launched in their own name that they happily promoted, while many of them ended absolutely terribly. This is just a small sample, by the way, of celebs who quickly tried to hop on the trend, and many were coerced into this by a shady dev known as Sahil, who was single-handedly responsible for ruining pretty much any celeb coin you can think of by bundling up supplies and just nuking the project once it was announced, paying the reference celebrity a little finder's fee and a thank you on top. Randomly though, Sahil actually confessed to his wrongdoings on CoffeeZilla not too long ago, happily admitting to making millions from these celebrity rugs and leaving a trail of destruction in his wake. With the coins launching with so much buzz and then nuking every innocent bystander moments later, the reputation of Pump.Fun quickly started to sour. People caught wind though of just how quick you could extract money from Pump.Fun, and all of a sudden, what was once an innocent crypto platform started to get darker. The scams got bigger, the losses much higher, and the tools to capitalize on this unique website far more lethal. It was around this time that bundling started to become a thing, and other ways to trade these tokens emerged. Designated platforms like Photon, who by the way confirmed an airdrop over 200 days ago and are still yet to do anything about it, took the forefront. But this new wave of platforms allowed some crafty users to fund 5 to 10 wallets, set them all up to buy at the exact same time, and control a ton of supply, sending coins up 50 to 60% in one candle and creating FOMO that would later wipe everyone out once they sold. So imagine this on a grand scale, with teams of bundlers preloading supply of these celebrity coins and dumping right after the contract is announced. The game was no longer about finding good memes and strong communities, and now simply a case of being early and surviving. Pump.Fun was no longer just a niche platform used by degens. Fans of these celebrities, who had no idea what a meme coin even was a week beforehand, were now investing their money only to watch it get obliterated by someone they looked up to, and then trying to lose it all back again by investing in rigged coins, and they didn't have the tools to work that out beforehand. And so came the lawsuits. Berwick Law has been the most prominent in assisting victims to try and pursue Pump.Fun for damages, with multiple suits being filed, and although nothing has come of them yet, this was a sign that things were starting to get out of control. Of course, it didn't take long for Berwick Law Pump.Fun coins to be made. Long live the trenches. But then, Pump.Fun did something incredible. A feature so clever that it would breathe new life into meme coins, yet so controversial, it almost ruined their company completely. On the 29th of May 2024, Pump.Fun released live streaming. Any dev could now go live, creating a totally new experience with holders of the coin. At first, this didn't really move the needle, but once the celeb coin started bringing waves of new eyes to the platform, tons of new people opted to try the feature, hoping that they'd be charismatic enough to host a stream that would make them a ton of money. And as the summer came to a close, the site became a hub of some of the craziest content you'll ever witness. Yeah, it wasn't great. There were illegal activities everywhere. Miners were rugging coins and flipping the bird. We had kids streaming with their parents and getting them to pour milk over themselves if the coin hit a certain level of market cap. Guns were being fired, people were being endangered, and someone even put himself into hospital by launching fireworks. Naturally, it didn't take long for authorities to start investigating. As if it wasn't suspicious enough that a startup was printing millions every month off of trading fees from meme coin scams, you've now got streams so filled with criminal activity that the dark web looks like Bluey. Pump.Fun was promptly banned in the UK following a warning from the Financial Conduct Authority about having the wrong authorization to operate. They also banned streaming entirely. Luckily, UK users could still trade Pump.Fun coins without ever actually going onto the platform thanks to the emergence of sites like Photon, Bullex and other trading platforms, which meant you could still lose your money freely. Take that, financial authorities. The following months saw a new wave of Pump.Fun degens trying to find their footing, and ultimately turned the platform into a huge PvP arena. Streamers started clipping 30 Sol for fun, TikTokers would promote blatant scams, and the rise of cabal coins which would hit millions, mostly due to the supply being controlled by a select few, dictated everything. People were losing money more aggressively than the early months due to the evolution of these malicious tools, and the whales that we once tracked had either made it off into the sunset or lost everything. So with retail interest declining, it kind of opened up a revelation. The truth is that Pump.Fun outside of live streaming hadn't innovated at all since its inception, and by the end of 2024 had made over $360 million. In January, it made over 15 million in a single day. Why would they need to change anything? They were unchallenged, unrivaled, and had an auto-printing money machine. But then, people started to see the complacency, and they decided to do something about it. Boop, Bonk, Moonshot, Believe, and several others all threw their names into the hat. Airdrops, transparency on how the profits were being spent, and new unique features left Pump.Fun scrambling. Bonk is specifically the name to note here, as half of all of their fees were used to buy and burn Bonk tokens, the native coin of the new trading platform. This gave community members an incentive to buy and hold that token, building a position with every bit of profit made, knowing that the team supports the coin and is actively increasing its value. Pump responded by basically copying the features from the new platforms. Live streaming came back, creator revenue sharing was now a core philosophy, and to top things off, they introduced PumpSwap, their own AMM, which allowed them to part ways from Radium and control all of the revenue from buy and sell fees. Clever. While this was going on though, a war between Pump.Fun and Bonk was brewing. Soulport Tom, one of the key men behind Let's Bonk, really started to pile the pressure on, and the Glonk saga was the first real instance of this. When a Bonk coin from a random Ricky Gervais tweet started to rally like crazy, Elon, Pump.Fun's founder, tweeted to bid the OG, which was launched long ago on Pump.Fun. This was the first of many battles between the two platforms. But as time went on, it became clear that Pump was no longer the meme coin powerhouse it once was. This was a warning sign for Pump.Fun, whose revenues were already slowing. It called for a big change, and they had to do something. And then, out of nowhere, on June 6, 2025, a rogue article by The Block cited that Pump.Fun were planning to launch their own coin at a $4 billion valuation, with an airdrop. But why would Pump need to make $1 billion when they've already made $700 million in the last fiscal year? Was this one final exit liquidity run, or did they have bigger plans? This was a golden opportunity to end the meme coin wars, to provide one of the biggest airdrops the world has ever seen, and to ensure the money printer stays on. But did it happen? Unfortunately, this is where our story ends, for now. The coin went live and is trading around that 4 billion mark at the time of making this video, and the airdrop, while now confirmed, is yet to drop from the air, leaving its core user base in a state of anxiety and excitement, while Bonk continues to steal mindshare and volume from Pump.Fun. In the space of a year, the company achieved more than most ever will, but almost lost everything multiple times along the way, which does sound about right for the world of crypto. Pump.Fun's success is a tale that, as of today, changed lives, ruined others, but could have been so much more. Whether or not it ever fulfills that potential, rewards its once loyal user base, and reclaims its spot at the top of the meme coin pecking order is anyone's guess. But for now, it's time to lose money. Again.